One. Well, good afternoon. This is Dave Jones with StormCenter Communications and GeoCollaborate. It is a little bit after 12, about 12:22 in the afternoon on Tuesday, September 10th. We still have Tropical Storm Francine. Last night, some drier air got entrained into the storm, and it heated some of the further development. But now it looks like, and you can see from the satellite picture, it is looking a little bit more ramped up, and you can see that circulation. One thing I want to point out, and I'll take this full screen and show you, I'll drag this a little bit further to the north here with the map. You can see the spinning circulation of Francine right here and these bubbles coming up around the center. That is the storm increasing in intensity. It's intensifying. The Hurricane Hunter Air Force craft, Hurricane Hunters, and the NOAA aircraft have all found dropping central pressures and a eye wall that's starting to carve itself out. And let me show you that on the radar data. I can take you over and show you what that looks like. This is the radar, live radar southeast of Brownsville, Texas. You can see that circulation. And what you can also see is that more storms are rotating around the center of Francine. You can also see approaching off Corpus Christi some very intense rainfall, and that rainfall, if it moves ashore, could cause very rapid flooding, very rapid rising of the water, and particularly low drainage areas that have difficulty evacuating water. But now you can see from the radar data, the storm is getting its act together a little bit more during the day today, and I do expect, and the National Hurricane Center expects, that we will have a hurricane by the end of the day today. Currently, winds are at 65 miles per hour. And another thing that I wanted to point out in the satellite imagery as well, look at all this shower and thunderstorm activity northeast of the center of Francine. This is very heavy shower and thunderstorm activity, and it's already impacting southern Louisiana with heavy rain. So a lot of people might think this is the hurricane coming ashore already, but it is not. The core of the hurricane is well south and west of Morgan City, Louisiana. And it looks like, you can tell by the way the clouds are moving up this way, this is going to be the path of the hurricane. This is going to be the path it takes, because you can see that thunderstorm activity moving in this direction. And that's the forecast as well from the National Hurricane Center to move towards the north, and then the north-northeast headed towards southern Louisiana. Now, I do want to show you also GeoCollaborate. I have displayed quite a bit of information here that I want to explain what it means, and you can see what's going on. Here is my arrow here. I'll just take that off. This is the estimated time of tropical storm force wind arrival. I'll take that full screen as a matter of fact here so we can just talk about this just for a couple of minutes. Wednesday at 8 a.m., it looks like tropical storm force winds will be just offshore most of Louisiana, but coming into Cameron Parish. And this is extreme southwestern part of Louisiana, where mandatory evacuations have been issued for Cameron Parish. This is the parish that was hit so hard in Hurricane Laura, and they are still recovering from that storm. You may have seen the Capital One building that was imploded a couple of days ago. It's taken 5 years for that building to be felled. But it was condemned after Hurricane Laura made landfall in Cameron Parish. That is also where high storm surge values are anticipated. I'll show you that in just a second. What you see displayed here are the forecast wind radii of Francine as it gets its act together. So what you see here are tropical storm force winds in the outer bands here, storm force winds of 50 miles per hour or so, and then hurricane force winds right at the core. And so you see the landfall happening tomorrow morning to afternoon in southern Louisiana here. This is hurricane force winds that will be coming ashore. Now, the Hurricane Center estimates that the winds will be about 90 miles per hour when the storm makes landfall, but with higher gusts. So what I've done here is I have superimposed the inland damage probabilities, what potential damage impacts are in these colored areas. So you see this red area? This is major rainfall flooding could happen in this area. Rivers and tributaries may rapidly overflow, and floodwaters can enter many structures within multiple communities in this red area. This is an impact area for the rainfall. In the orange, potential impacts, moderate rainfall flooding may prompt evacuations and rescues in this area. Floodwaters may enter some structures in this orange area as well as the storm makes its landfall, and then thunderstorm activity really dumps heavy rain in this location. Now, I'm going to turn this one off just for a second because this is inland impacts. I want to turn on the wind threat. This is the wind threat for landfalling Hurricane Francine. So I have the wind field superimposed at landfall, and this area of red, what that is let me go over here to the potential impacts. Some damage to roofing and siding materials in the orange area. A few buildings experiencing window, door, and garage door failures. Several large trees snapped and uprooted. That is here in the orange area, which includes downtown New Orleans. Now I'm going to turn off as well. I'm going to turn off the wind field forecast and the wind radii forecast and the tropical storm wind arrival, so I can inquire on these on this data as well. So in the red area, what this looks like for potential impacts: considerable roof damage to sturdy buildings, with some having window, door, and garage door failures leading to structural damage. Also, some roads impassable from large debris, more within urban or heavily wooded places, and large areas with power and communication outages are anticipated in this red area. So it stretches from this location all the way over just west of New Orleans. But in downtown New Orleans, wind could gust well over hurricane force, which could cause structural damage. Needless to say, in this area, it's going to take a while to recover after Francine makes landfall because of the impacts to critical infrastructure. We have cell towers, communication towers, highways that could be blocked by trees, and we could also have low-lying areas being flooded by heavy and intense rainfall. As the storm moves up on into Mississippi, this is Jackson, Mississippi here, areas damage to porches, awnings, carports, sheds, and unanchored mobile homes could be expected in this yellow area here as the storm moves inland. Many large tree limbs broken off. A few trees snapped or uprooted, and a few roads impassable from debris. This is one of the big areas of concern, and I'll zoom out here just a little bit. In this yellow area are trees that snap and bring down power lines or communication wires as well. And so you have to give some time for the crews to get out there and assess the damage. But this is the initial wind field. You can see down here, we're starting to get storm force winds. We'll have a hurricane soon, probably by later this afternoon, early evening. And these are the anticipated impacts from the wind from the landfalling storm. And I want to show one other data layer as well. I will turn off the wind threat and turn on the coastal threat. So this is the coastal threat that exists because of the anticipated landfall of what will be Hurricane Francine. So we have storm surge forecasts in this purple area, which includes half of Cameron Parish. Cameron Parish has, let me zoom in here just a little bit. Cameron Parish has areas of inundation expected with storm surge flooding accentuated by waves. Damage to several buildings are likely. Here in the purple, there's widespread deep inundation expected near shore escape routes and secondary roads washed out or severely flooded along the coastline here in this purple. So this is the area where a 5 to 10 foot storm surge is being forecast in southern Louisiana. 5 to 10 feet. But as we go up into some of these tributaries and rivers, you can see here, this is potential impacts, little to no damage from storm surge or flooding in the red. However, there will be deep inundation with storm surge or structural damage to buildings, with several washing away because of wave interaction. The light area, I must have clicked on the gray area before, where no damage is expected. But this is a lot of storm damage expected up towards Baldwin, Franklin, all the way up into, this is St. Mary Parish, Jeanerette, and New Iberia Parish. So we'll have to watch this very closely because transportation, canals, and rivers will be severely impacted as the storm gets closer. Around Lake Pontchartrain and also around greater New Orleans, it looks like we could have in this orange area areas of inundation with storm surge flooding accentuated by waves. Damage to several buildings, mainly near the coast, are likely along Lake Pontchartrain because of the wind and the storm surge. There are gates that are being closed, and I have a graphic for that. First of all, I wanted to mention, if you are going to be responding for any sort of mutual assistance calls, please make sure you're fully aware of where those staging locations are and how vulnerable they are to either storm surge flooding or intense rainfall. We're talking about 5 to 10 inches of rain, possibly 15 inches of rain in some areas where those spiral bands set up. So check on that latest rainfall forecast from the local National Weather Service office, and also make sure the storm surge forecast is not high enough to impact where any staging location might be. And I also want to talk about the floodgates for a moment. In Mississippi, the railroad MR16 floodgate is closed now. That is closed. And in Louisiana, 20 floodgates have been closed. We're working on getting more details from the flood authority in Louisiana on what it means when those floodgates closed. Who does it impact? Does it impact traffic? Does it impact rail traffic and transportation? Who does it impact? Marine traffic in some cases that local boaters know about. So tropical storm force winds are expected to arrive Wednesday morning. And so those floodgates, where the officials determine it's necessary, will be closed. There are a whole bunch more floodgates around Louisiana. I think 55 or 56 floodgates that the flood authority is in charge of. So that's the way it looks right now for Tropical Storm Francine. We do expect it to become a hurricane today. That dry air has been evacuated from the storm, and now it has warm sea surface temperatures, and it has a very favorable environment for it to strengthen. So we'll be monitoring that during the course of the day today. I'm Dave Jones with StormCenter Communications and GeoCollaborate. Thanks for watching this update for the All Hazards Consortium Sensitive Information Sharing Environment, so we can get information moving more freely between the public and private sectors to keep the economy moving. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you later today or tomorrow morning.